Welcome to a new episode of TTG Conversations 5 Questions video series. This episode will look at how Switzerland tourism has been rebuilding travel desires for the country here in Asia. Giving us insights on this topic is Ivan Breiter, Director of Southeast Asia, Switzerland Tourism, the National Tourism Board of Switzerland. Ivan established operations for the Swiss tourism industry in Southeast Asia in 2012 and today manages teams in Singapore, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. Under his leadership, this region became one of the top 10 source markets for the Swiss tourism industry. Thank you for joining us on this series, Ivan.
Very welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
I've got 5 questions for you, and here is the first. Switzerland Tourism hasn't stopped its marketing and trade outreach efforts in Asia despite the ongoing travel restrictions, particularly on long-haul travel. Can you give us a quick roundup of some of the activities your team has been busy with?
The first 2-3 months we were shocked as everybody else, and we did webinars, education for travel agents, different back office work. But then soon we realized that the domestic market will be traveling again soon, as well as the close-by market. So we took also some of the resources to work on projects for these close-by markets out of Asia, and we worked remotely. But since September, we are fully back concentrated on Asia. We created new itineraries for FITs. As an example, for the Swiss Grand Train Tour of Switzerland, we created more than 30 different FIT itineraries, be it for honeymooners, be it for elderly couples that want to have everything in a luxury way, etc. So really to be prepared for the new travelers that will be coming after the pandemic. We also engaged journalists to write stories that we will put in different magazines as of next month. And we engage different influencers that are living already in Europe, but they have a big followership in Asia to write their travel stories and how Switzerland is doing currently.
That's wonderful. And how have your communication directions and goals evolved during this pandemic?
Unfortunately, not as fast as we wanted to have it. Of course, at the beginning, our message was mainly on sympathy. We had the chance to illuminate the Matterhorn, this famous triangle peak of Switzerland with different flags of nations where we have a lot of guests from. So this was very much appreciated by the different countries. Then we changed a bit into the dreaming phase, where we showcase the different opportunities that you can do in Switzerland. And now we are already in the planning phase, so really giving ideas for consumers to travel. As an example, in Malaysia, we just sold 2 weeks ago over 100 packages together with a famous travel agent in Malaysia to Switzerland for next summer season.
That's wonderful. So what would some of the toughest challenges facing long-haul destinations like Switzerland be as travel begins its slow recovery?
Probably the most difficult part is that we have right now a lot of hotels and suppliers that work very reduced due to that they have been strongly focused on the Asian market. There's not many Asian guests, but then it's this ramp up phase that will come where suddenly you need 100% of your overhead guests, but you will not directly have 100% of your guests back. And this is probably the most challenging part. On the other hand, I see also a lot of opportunities that for Switzerland, we are a luxury, a high-end destination that is catered rather to smaller group, to a clientele that is very well traveled, that wants to have a safe and clean environment. And there I think Switzerland has its possibilities, and we see it as well as an opportunity to gain market share at this moment for the future to come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so earlier you mentioned that the toughest challenge is when 100% of guests come back. The properties may not have 100% of the manpower to support that. Did you mean that?
No, it's the other way around. That if you have a hotel that needs to open again completely, not only the restaurant but all the rooms, etc., they will have 100% of the overhead costs, but unlikely 100% of the guests that are coming back. This will leave a few months off where you have a quite big drain of money, and due to that at the moment those hotels can make money. There we fear a little bit that we will have some cash flow issues.
Right. Okay, understand that. Okay, so now that Switzerland has reopened her borders to European tourists, what sort of travel trends are most prominent and which may help Switzerland prepare for the eventual return of long-haul visitors?
I mean, one of the good news that we really had is that as soon as borders were opened, that was already the case this summer, we had tourists coming back from short-haul markets. With Schengen area, Switzerland has no borders to Germany or France, as well as not to Benelux. And all these countries, they generated between 70 and 90% of all the overnights that they would do in a usual year. And we had the domestic market that was very strong. What we saw is that we see a trend that people are coming in smaller groups. They are using often the private cars. So this will also be likely an increase that we will see. Right now, most of our Asian guests, they are traveling with the public transportation system, which is one of the best in the world and a safe way to travel. But there will be more demand for travel with either chauffeur-driven or for self-drive holidays.
Okay. Industry leaders often said that this current lull is the best time for rejuvenation. So how is Switzerland rejuvenating then in both hardware and software?
I mean, we did a lot of investments in different hotels. Different hotels, they closed down for complete renovation, used this time really to get the infrastructure back, to educate themselves with the people working in our industry. We are doing a lot of different projects in regards of sustainability. I think Switzerland is a very sustainable country, but one that has not shown that as much yet. So we will do a strong campaign where we involve all the sector with thousands of participating suppliers that really put the efforts first before we are pushing out this new product line.
All right, so that's all the 5 questions I have for you, Ivan. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day.
Yeah, so if there are topics you'd like us to tackle on this video series, please leave your comments below and we'd love to hear from you. Meanwhile, take care and stay safe, everybody.